Hi, I'm Pattu from freefincal. Today, let's talk about a question that has been asked occasionally. Why should I invest in equity mutual funds when there is no guarantee of returns? Particularly, they ask this question when I keep telling them that returns in equity are basically timing, like it depends on when you invest, when you start investing, and when you quit investing. And basically, the spread in returns is too much that you just cannot expect any kind of returns from equity mutual funds, or whether you invest by lump sum or SIP. So the question they ask is, then why should I invest in equity? Why should I invest in equity mutual funds? So clearly, yes, there is quite a bit of risk associated with equity, but that doesn't mean that we should avoid it, because there is risk in everything. Just because you invest in a fixed deposit today doesn't mean that's a safe investment, because the return may be known to you, but the inflation in future is unknown, the taxation rules are going to be unknown, so there is a risk, there is an uncertainty in everything. Now the question that we should be asking is, before we invest in equity, is this is important, because many people, although they invest in equity or equity mutual funds, they do not invest in it substantially. And the question we should be asking is the risk reasonable? If the risk is reasonable, then yes, we can invest. If the risk is reasonable, that means that the risk is manageable. That means we have enough time to manage the risk. If that is the case, definitely there's no problem. We can take a chance and invest in it, and also make sure we have proper risk management steps in place, good asset allocation, proper goal, annual rebalancing, systematic de-risking of equity, and so on. If you include that, then the risks becomes much more manageable. So the question is the risk in equity reasonable or not? And that's what we shall be talking about today. So what you see here is the 15-year rolling return rolling SIP returns of the S&P 500 real index. That is, so what you are seeing here is the 15-year SIP real return. That is the return above the consumer price index of for the USA. That's 1279 data points there. You can see many times the return has gone to zero or even negative. So, but even then, if you look at the data, only 16% of the real returns are 0% or less, and that is 84% of the real returns are positive. But just because you get a positive real return that is beating consumer price inflation is not enough. We need to take into account tax, we need to take into account the daily inflation may be higher than the consumer price index. So if you say that the real return should be higher than 4%, that is 2% you lose to tax, then 2% because it has to be higher than daily inflation, even then 67% of the returns are higher than 4%. So that means that there is a reasonable risk. That is better than a coin toss. Coin toss probability is 50%. This is 67, almost 70%. So that's a reasonable risk that you have in trying to beat inflation over the long term, and that's good enough. That is enough. So on top of this, if you add in asset allocation, goal based investing, all the things that I just mentioned, then the chances of actually beating inflation, actually getting a substantial real return is becomes all the more stronger. So that is the reason why we should be investing in equity. Now the data for India is very tricky, because the Harshad Mehta scam, that year the Sensex shot up by 275%. That single return is still governing the returns, the long-term returns of the Sensex even today. And we have had high interest, tax-free fixed income options for several years, for about 25 of those 41 years that the Sensex has been in existence. We have had EPF for 12%, EPF, PPF for 12%. We have had other fixed deposits which are very high, and so on. So the returns have been falling down. The Sensex returns have been falling down, as I've been talking about over several videos. So if you look at this, these are 15-year rolling returns of the S&P, of the Sensex. Yeah, S&P Sensex. It is. BSE Sensex. So, and I have added 2% for returns. This is the price return. So I've added 2%. and you can see here the green dots are the prevailing ppf interest rate and the crosses are the 15-year average of the consumer price inflation. If you look at this, only about thrice in the history of the Sensex, short history of the Sensex, the returns have fallen close to the existing PPF rate or below the PPF rate. This is not an exact calculation. I have to do a more rigorous calculation. I will publish it in the next few days. But it is very clear that this is enough, that you can see that there is a reasonable chance of beating the PPF. Even if you don't worry about consumer price inflation, even if you say consumer price inflation does not reflect reality, PPF interest is a very good benchmark for equity to beat, and that has happened considerable amount of times even in the short history. Of course, our history is short, we shouldn't take this too seriously and so on, that much I agree. But again I would say that the risk is reasonable. Because the risk is reasonable, even though the returns are not guaranteed, it makes perfect sense for us to invest a good amount in equity for long-term goals, not for short-term goals. Don't put too much of money below 10-year goals. For about 10 years, if your goal is 15 years, 20 years, then yes, 50 to 60% definitely you can put in equity. Don't put beyond that. If you put beyond that, then the risk becomes slightly less reasonable. That's a problem. So 50 to 60% is a very good bet that you, with a simple management, risk management, you will be able to try and build a good amount of wealth and beat inflation.